Larry, how would you like to have Rutledge for a spotter? I mean,
oh goodness,
I don't know about that one.
I know from a driver's perspective I wouldn't want it, but I thought maybe a crew chief.
David Gilliland in the 71 car for the second week. Right now, 15th quickest. Qualified for the race at Fontana. But, Mike, I think this is one of those go or go homers that absolutely is focusing on nothing this practice but trying to run a fast lap. But that's a good lap for David.
Yeah, he's got it on kill right now. That's all they got. Whatever they end up with at the end of this practice, that's well, actually, I think what he ends up with right now is probably all he's got.
TRG says they're going to run what, the next 3 races after Las Vegas. With David.
Talked to owner Kevin Buckler last night. We were down.
Lap will be good.
It's up to 8th place. I think that's right on Gillen.
And destroyed that lap. I got to be careful. Really got to be careful not to drive it into one too deep. Got on them bumps and kind of upset it. I didn't like. I don't know if it was the bump stop change or what, but it was tighter that time. Might go back on that bump stop change we did.
It seems like about what everybody's working with is just those bump stops that when the car travels, it gets against them in the front, and that seems like what everybody's working on. But a lot of old school racing on these back-to-back West Coast races. Darrell used to do it. Jeff used to do it. I've done it. When we'd make the West Coast swing, a lot of teams traveled from California Sunday night or Monday morning, came over here, found a shop like Brendan Gaughan's truck shop right outside the Speedway here, and transferred this car over to be ready to race here. Same car they raced at California, like that 71 car.
Parking lot.
Let's check down in the garage with Krista.
Mike, taking advantage of this opportunity to catch up with David Gilliland, and we were talking, a lot of people at home really can't understand the nerves that go through going race to race, trying to make your way in. You guys obviously working on qualifying. What is that like for you? Do you get any sleep at night?
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking, man. I didn't sleep good last Thursday night before qualifying in California, and I thought, well, we made it in. I'm kind of over that. This week will be better. And boy, last night it was tough again, man. I kept waking up, and it's nerve-wracking. But you know, TRG Motorsports put together a great deal in a short amount of time, and feel real good about the car so far. I mean, last I looked, we were 10th or 11th out there. So, you know, car's running good, driving good. So, you know, our first and foremost goal today is just try and make the race. And I think 52 cars here this week, so that puts a little more pressure on than it was on last week. So we'll see what we can do. You know, like I said, the car's running great so far. Slugger and all the guys have worked really hard. They all stayed out here and worked on the car over the past week, and feel really good.
Let's go to Matt.
Kevin Harvick, very fast.
Field, and we don't. Everybody below Sterling Marlin would be on the going home list, so there's some work to do.
And I would about bet it's going to be one of those things that's going to come down to tenths, maybe, or probably closer to hundredths of who makes this show and who goes home.
You know, when Richard Petty retired at the end of '92, there was some consideration given to NASCAR retiring his number. Now, NASCAR has never retired a car number. And Richard said, no, I don't have any interest in retiring the number, because as years go by, whoever drives that number 43, maybe they'll just think that Richard Petty once ran that number. And that's how it's worked out, especially since Richard has controlled the number 43 ever since, and the number is still styled exactly as it was on his cars.
See, Jeff,
March 7th, Kyle Busch and the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series head for Atlanta, where things always get a little rowdy. March 7th, only on Speed.
we've seen them cross the finish line there backwards, sideways, through the infield grass.
Upside down, doesn't matter. Here is David Gilliland and TRG, the Racers Group. They picked up a couple of sponsors. Looks like I don't believe those logos were on there during practice earlier today.
Oh, and he was pretty fast in practice, too. I think he ran like, what, a 38 or something like that.
Capital window on the hood.
Yeah, he was 24th, Darrell. Actually, he ran a 56, 29.56. But this is looking like a pretty decent run.
Yeah, not bad.
Nice. 22nd, 29.38.
I'd feel pretty good about that.
I think that should put him in the show.
Yeah, I do too.
Same car that they used last week to qualify for the race over at Fontana. And I think they've concluded that that probably will be good enough. One and done.
Now, Jeremy Mayfield, who was one of the last cars to come out for practice, is now on the 5-minute clock. That car is not up on the line. And I don't see it headed out from the garage. So if Mayfield doesn't make it.
And they share information. They open the books up in their driver meetings and debriefings, and whatever I got, you can have too.
You're talking about insecurity. It takes a secure driver to buy into the program. Let's do it that way. Darrell nodded his head.
And remember what he said about his pit crew last Sunday.
Yeah, they were on it, and they've been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Hey, David Gilliland's got a new sponsor, Capital Window, and they're not a competitor to Window World. They're a company that finds investment capital for entrepreneurs, and it's their first time into the sport, so welcome.
I still like the other sponsor on the quarter panel, the Adobe Winery.
All right.
Kevin Buckler, the owner of this car, owns that winery.
Oh.
Nice guy. Good group of people.
Pretty good qualifying run for that crowd.
The set.
Builders car owners too crazy is everybody's got the same piece. 2 of them blow up, 2 of them run all day. Go figure.
That's pretty much what happened. Pretty good lick on the right side of that car.
Just speeding up there.
Well, let's ride with Denny Hamlin through this one.
On the wave, exactly. It's a great day for Yates Racing to have 2 cars up in the top 10, but I'm going to tell you another guy that's having a great run. He got the free pass is David Gilliland back there in the 71 car.
Yep.
This is a team that was formed late. They did not make the show for the Daytona 500 with Mike Wallace. David Gilliland got in the car last week. They qualified for that race, qualified here, and he's sitting up there in the top 15 right now.
So now that Jimmy Johnson has gotten his lap back, there are 17 cars on the lead lap. There are 40. And I guess not much reason to come to pit road and give up track position now.
Yeah, you're like looking down at the bacon. The pig's committed now. There's no coming to pit road.
Yeah.
Unless you're Dale Jr.
Well, if you're at the back of the field and
or
you
David
want to come
Gilliland.
down, yeah, I think that's a good call. You might pick up a spot or 2.
Sam Hornish brushed the wall, and he's on pit road, and so is Robbie Gordon. There's Gilliland, new sponsor on Kevin Buckler's car this week.
Pretty good day for that little outfit right there, boys.
Yeah, lead lap car.
Yeah, it's a team not even sure that they were going to try to continue to run the full schedule. They plan on being in Atlanta, but no plans beyond that.
14 laps to